Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax. I am Podcast Papi, and you are tuned into a brand new episode of Quarter Life Crisis, starting right now. Three, two, one. Welcome to Quarter Life Crisis. Aiden and Nick.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
It is weird seeing you guys on the other side of the camera.
Damn.
Usually you guys are the one taking them.
Right.
But welcome. And you guys are here. First new setup. New table, new cameras, new tech. This table is very busy. We're making shit happen right now.
I love the table.
Thank you guys so much. And how many podcasts are you guys doing right now? Is it just me?
So as of right now, it's yourself, and then we've got a couple other clients that we're doing some podcasts for. A lot different dynamics, but same type of deal.
So you guys got a lot going on. But the main thing that you guys are running under is Tourdspace, right?
That's correct.
And you guys are both in it. Are you guys like the two heads of the dragon? How does it work? How many people do you guys have? Is it just you two?
So it started off as just a one-man band with myself. I started the company back in 2017.
Right.
Basically, the way I'd gotten into it was I grew a resentment for my job at FedEx.
Right.
As I'm sure you. As I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
So really, I was just looking for constantly ways to get out of there and just make something of myself. And so when I was 18 turning 19, I got my real estate license with the anticipation that I wanted to be an agent myself.
Right.
So I worked with somebody as a assistant to a broker for a few months, realized that was probably not going to be my direction. And then I found out about this software that's called Matterport, in which what that is basically a 3D software that generates floor plans and gives folks an interactive tour of a space.
Yeah.
And at the time, this was 2016 going into 2017, this was a really new concept, especially in this area.
Yeah.
And so nobody was really doing it. And so I was able to find an investor and start a business out of it.
So in 16, it wasn't easy to just pop on and do like a 3D tour and do what you guys are doing?
No, definitely not. I mean, even to this day, in present day, we're still finding ourselves educating people on how important these type of programs are and the technology that goes into being able to sell a property for top dollar.
Right. Now, when did you jump in?
I jumped in around 2019. It was through FedEx, actually, where I met Aiden.
Right.
We're both package handlers on the outbound. And at the time he was starting his real estate gig, I was starting social media marketing. And I ran into Aiden with that on his Facebook. He was looking for people to do his website. And I hit him up and we sat down. I did his website. And while I was doing that, I really liked what he was doing.
Right.
So I told him, yo, when you start hiring, let me know.
Yeah.
And sure enough, come that time, he made another post and I messaged him and I was like, let's sit down, get an interview going, and I'll shoot some shit.
So you went to attack the website first. So did you guys sit down in that fucking clunky little office that you made that I sat down with you with in 2000? And I think it was, it was 16 or 17? My son was born in November 30th, 2017. So this must have been like early 2017.
We didn't sit down in the office. We actually went to get a cup of coffee over at Lighthouse, right? Yeah,
I want to say that was the first time we had ever sat down and really started, bringing this to life.
Right.
Was talking about it at Lighthouse Coffee over there at the marina.
Nice. So you started I fucking make fun of your office. You started in that fucking tiny little. That fucking room was so goddamn small.
Yeah.
When you started to run my social
with
media, you're like, yeah, pop in here. And I was like, there was a desk and it was all official, but it was literally like this much fucking space.
Yeah, that desk was too big for that room, I'll tell you that.
So how did it start? Did you start with managing social media, or where did that start?
That started after watching Ty Lopez. He really inspired me to reach out to small businesses and be like, hey, I can run your media.
Who's Ty Lopez?
Ty Lopez is a big successor on media,
Yeah.
and he's into multiple different groups where real estate, marketing, investment, stock, Bitcoin, and he's a book a day
Right.
guy. if you know what the book a day, I don't know if it's possible to actually read a book a day.
He reads a fucking book a day?
Apparently.
Sweet fuck, dude. That's a lot.
But yeah,
turning pages, right? Dude. I read too slow. I get caught, like, I'll start reading a book, and I'll read and it'll happen to me, like, on repeat 4 or 5 times. I'll read a page and be like, I have no fucking idea what that entire page just said. I'll read it again, and I'm like, yeah, didn't even take any of that in again, and then I'll just get pissed and shut the fucking book.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of reading books, to be honest. I like to visualize.
Right.
I'll learn through YouTube or pages that creators are, trying to teach you something. I'd rather visualize it and read the book on it. Mm-hmm. He had a social media marketing class that I bought into and was doing lesson by lesson by lesson, and I want to say by 50% through his lesson, I could take it on.
Really?
Like, there's that much content in there to make you feel comfortable about going business to business, and hey, here's what I got for you.
Yeah.
You have no pictures, you have no videos. Let me create something for you. Get your content live and rolling. Mm-hmm. What Facebook can do for your sales, things like that, and that's how that started.
Right, and you were killing it at that. Because you took over my social media.
Yeah. And
I think I got like 4,000 followers and like 4,000 followers in a couple months. And you built this whole portfolio and you had the graphs and the whole fucking nine. It was a little above I wasn't expecting it to be that formal. And it seemed like you were killing at that. So when did you detach from social media marketing?
I detached when I got the management position at FedEx.
Oh,
that kind of... I loved what I was doing then.
Fucking FedEx, man.
It's crazy because
work-life balance is gone.
Literally everyone in our circle, whether it's you, whether it's JJ, half the people that we were doing these passion projects for, even Miles, who's our editor, we've all been in FedEx in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And what's brought us to this point of doing all these type of different projects and just freelancing
just trying to get the fuck out
has stemmed from a resentment of working for somebody like a company like FedEx.
Right.
And it's sad to say, but it's just the reality.
Like, I don't think, obviously I don't think FedEx is a bad company, and like just bagging on who I work for in the podcast, but it's like a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'm sure you guys have gone through it. It's a type of industry where unless you're literally inside the building and you're trying to explain like the adversities that you go through and the stress and how that job works, it's very tough to explain to someone who's never stepped inside the building. It's a relationship killer is what it is, really.
Absolutely.
And then also, like, they promote so much within. Like, if you're not a lifer, I don't believe that it's like, I think you guys are right. Like, they tax the shit out of you. Like, they promote within, and there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a very high ceiling. But if you're planning on getting out, it's a job that's almost not worth taking that type of beating. Because like preload, you were preload, right?
For a short period of time, I started off doing the outbound at the small building, and that's how I met Nick.
Right.
I would say Nick probably started maybe a week after I did.
Yeah.
And I remember like his like first day, we were like training. I was training him, you know what I mean? And then I started doing the morning shift as a way to make it a smooth transition of getting out of there. I'd say about 6 months in, to working at FedEx was when I realized like this is not my career, this is not my path. Right. I can't make this permanent.
Yeah, it's a fantastic job, but if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. But that's bittersweet, right? That's double-edged sword. Like you were getting beat up at FedEx, but it pushes you to find a passion outside.
For sure. I think going through all the struggles at FedEx made me be able to go back to my desk job and setting up Tourdspace, and to me, staying up till 2-3 a.m., editing photos or sending emails, whatever it was, to me that was nothing, because I knew the end result was going to get me out of FedEx eventually. So,
and also, if you can survive out there,
agreed.
It is like once you kind of go out and you see like how demanding other jobs are and other things are, I think a big positive is like, oh, I can do this. If I can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and move 5,000 packages in a day, or load 4 trucks, or sleep for 2 hours for 6 months straight every single day, and then you go to something else, you're like, all right, I can take the hard work that you are forced to learn from FedEx and bring it to other things.
For sure. I mean, I found myself, getting maybe 4 hours of sleep, 3.5 when I was doing the morning shift because I was going to TMCC. I was doing the morning shift, and then I was still trying to build a business.
Yeah, she was no joke.
And I do think that struggle was what allowed me to create the work ethic that I do have, in present day, and a big reason of why I'm so motivated to make sure that Tourdspace continues to grow and succeed.
Right. So you jump out of social media management, right? Am I saying that right? Social media management?
Yeah.
I should know that.
Social media marketing.
Social media marketing. And then what did you fall into right after that? Did you go right to Tourdspace after that?
No. I took on the management for, I threw in my entire life into that.
Right.
That was what I wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, FedEx can be a very, very good place, very, very bad place, but it really motivated me.
Right.
The people around me, I had great managers above me. I had great people under me, people building skills, socializing. It was all awesome. It was something I wanted to do, eventually be a sort manager or whatnot, such as yourself or Wendell. I was inspired to do that.
Right.
And at the time, I still wanted to, have multiple sources of income. I didn't want to just work at FedEx, just be a sort manager or just be an ops manager or whatnot. I wanted multiple sources. So at the time, it was perfect. That post I saw that Aiden was hiring, I was like, yo, I'm interested. I know what you're doing, and I see what the future is.
Right.
Sorry to cut you off, Nick,
No,
but it really is insane.
What an asshole.
I know, right? I feel like such a dick. I
fucking
cut you
one
off
Modelo, and here we go,
I
right?
forget how to act halfway through my beer. But really going off of what Nick was saying, it really is crazy, the term of events. It was... I remember, throwing boxes in a 53-footer, throwing full-on bitch fits in this trailer with Nick helping me out and telling him my vision for Tourdspace and what I was trying to do and getting the ball rolling on it. And we were messing around. He'd be like, yeah, dude, whenever it takes off, let me know. I'd love to, do some shit with you. Yeah. And now, fast forward, and we've been doing this for almost 2 years now.
It's close to 2.
That's how Nick and I started. We'd just be walking around the dock, and he would be like, oh, I saw that you're training, because at the time, I was fucking all over the place. I was doing dream trips. It was direct sales and vacation that I absolutely fucking loved. Fuck you, COVID, by the way, for fucking that whole thing up. And then I was training. I was coaching SYFL. I was training the football players. I was also training in CrossFit.
In North Valleys, right?
Yeah, North Valleys.
That's awesome.
And then I was training myself, trying to possibly compete and then grow my social media platform and yada, yada, yada. So I was all over the place. And we'd just be walking around the dock. He'd pull up on his phone hey, this is what I got going on. This is what I could do. And then finally we sat down, and when we started, I would come to work, and I just wasn't really on my social media anymore. I'd come to work, and Nick would be like, yo, check this out. Fucking X hundred amount of followers and this and these comments and all that. And now that shit was crazy. So when Tourdspace started, how did it how small was it compared to now? We're sitting in front of all this amazing equipment. You're doing all these crazy shoots in these houses. If when it's all tagged up, I hope people look at your page, because some of the fucking houses that you guys do are out. They have to be multi-million-dollar homes. Some of them, So where did it start?
Again, back to, really the beginning is it started off with one single 3D camera, a tripod, and an iPad. That's literally what the beginning of Tourdspace was. And, gradually over time, I've been able to add new skills and new services to our, portfolio. And literally just through trial and error, we've been able to, get to where we're at today, where we've got 3 cameras. Yeah. We've got, drone video work. We do, all different types of video productions now. I mean, it really is crazy how quick things have moved up for us. I mean, we're doing, covers for magazines and stuff like that. I mean, being able to break out of just the real estate stuff has just been crazy. Yeah.
Before we get into breaking out of the real estate stuff, how exactly does it are you working with the homeowners? Are you working with realtors? How does that work? How do you get a house? You know what I mean? And then how are you involved in the selling of it? I don't understand exactly how it works. How do you get linked up with your customers and clients and stuff like that?
So what's a little bit different about our company is we actually try to be, in the transaction from start to finish. So, whereas most photographers in any industry, doesn't have to be just real estate, they're providing a service. Here's a bill, and you pay it.
Right.
What's different about our services is it's just another service that they can bill through escrow. Mm-hmm. So basically, what has been a huge part of our success is being able to tell people, look, here's our services. We're so confident and we stand behind it so strongly that we're willing to tell you, if the house doesn't sell, you're not getting paid, then I myself am not getting paid either. So that's really been.
So the house has to sell for you guys to get paid.
That's correct. Yeah. So again, going back to that.
Bold,
yeah,
bold, my
absolutely.
friend. Bold.
So we really take pride in giving people content that's effective and creates a lasting impression on your prospective buyers.
Right.
Especially when the market's not the way it is right now. When you have a lot more competitive and you have a lot more inventory, you need to have professional content to be able to show to people, especially in the digital age where almost every first impression is going to be on Zillow or Realtor.com or the MLS.
Right.
So to be able to have that and say, look, you're not paying anything for this until you actually get the result that you want, which is obviously to close the deal and get your commission. It's a no-brainer for a lot of people.
Right.
We really appeal, I think, to a lot of folks that are just getting into real estate, or a lot of inexperienced folks, or people that have a very set budget. Because I don't think a lot of people realize how much work gets put into putting together a listing and getting it ready to actually go on the market.
Yeah.
It really is a full-time job for the realtor and for that seller.
Right.
So being able to, and part of what we try to appeal to people is that let us do the work for you to get to present the listing, and
Right.
and you get back to doing what you do best, which is selling the house.
Right.
So that's really a lot of the foundations that we stand behind, and that's been a huge part of our success.
When you guys started, it wasn't like the digital real estate, if you would, wasn't very competitive. Wasn't a lot of people doing it.
Yeah. So again, I mean, when I'd gotten into this whole thing in 2017, there was only one other guy in this whole area, Northern Nevada, that had this Matterport camera. It was still a very new concept.
Right.
I was finding myself, really trying to educate people on how important this thing is and how big of a alternative it really is to showing houses physically.
Right.
And truthfully, I wouldn't say that particular service that we offer, that's just one of the many services that we offered in present day, which is the 3D tours. I don't think that really caught on until COVID happened, actually. I mean, that was a pretty...
That was going to be my next question. Like, it must have just... It's got to be there's got to be... got to be more people doing it now, right?
Absolutely.
And booming, because people don't want to fucking travel. And also, how many people are fucking jumping ship out of Cali and would probably like to look at a home...
From their home.
Yeah. Right?
Yep. And that's the idea of these 3D tours and the videos and the photography that we're doing. We were blessed enough to be able to be considered essential when all of this whole COVID situation started, because we're a real estate service. But I've got several photography friends in the industry, that maybe aren't working directly in real estate or, whatever it may be. And they were sidelined for 3-4 months, not making a dime. Whereas we were able to, still do our thing. It's, we're not working with people necessarily. It's, still subjects and, empty houses. So we were able to still do our thing and provide a service that was actually quite a necessity at the time.
Right.
And it really has continued to be that way. It's, since COVID's happened, we've been finding people making like full offers based off of our photos and 3D tours.
That's
all the way
crazy.
from a different state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, these fucking cash cows from California are probably just like, yeah, that looks good. I'll slide out and buy that bitch up. Yeah.
We had a lot of instances like that. I mean, do you remember that one house we did over here in Collin Ranch when you landed the drone into the tree?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
It happened.
We did that house, and some folks from California made a full cash offer just off of the tour and photos that we did.
Cash.
Full cash.
How much
offer.
was the house?
$775, I believe, over here in this little Collin Ranch area.
These motherfuckers just walked out here with $775,000 in cash.
Yeah, out-of-state buyers, man.
Like, where, you know what I mean? Like, where do you make that transaction? Who the like, you just driving up in a fucking Hyundai with
briefcases full of cash?
You'd be
million?
surprised. You'd be surprised, dude. That's nothing. I did a listing out in Incline.
That's nothing.
No, 775 is not. Trust me.
Right, but just cash. 775 cash.
Hold on. This listing we did in Incline. It was 1 block away from the actual like beach. So there's no beach frontage. I mean,
right.
You're just paying for the location. They wanted 6.2 for it. It was like about 5,000 square feet.
6.24.
Incline is
no Incline's the whole lake right now is insane. So hold on. So that particular listing, I took the photos on Monday.
Right.
I told her I'd have everything back to her by like Wednesday. She had sent me a text and said they had received a full cash offer for 6.2 mil on the listing, and she didn't need the photos. Like, so she said, take your time. Like, you can just send them to me whenever they're ready.
Like, what bank are you going to?
Right.
Like, hi, yeah, with a debit card. I'd like to do a withdrawal. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They bring in like an armored truck to their house. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder where those cash transactions would actually happen.
Yeah.
Or I wonder they probably not pulling out the actual cash. Probably they're probably like wiring it. Right? You would think, right? Or do you think they're doing it cash?
So it just depends. I mean, most of that side of like the real estate transaction is done through like title and escrow.
What I'm really getting at is I'm just trying to give me an address so me and Grims can go pop one of these motherfuckers who are driving around with $6.2 million in their car. Like, oh, like what? I mean, like, what is that? What, armed robbery? That's 2 years if I get caught, right?
It is what it is.
Try not to kill anybody. You know what I mean?
Slight work.
That's the con. Pro, 6.2 million in the bank, dude. Fuck. But so yeah. Do you think? Are they actually doing a cash transaction? You think?
Oh, for sure. Again, I mean, even if you're paying for a $6.2 million listing in cash, or you're, getting financing or whatever the situation may be, it's still going to go through that escrow process.
Right.
So that's kind of like the litigation side of like a real estate transaction. Mm-hmm. And that's basically how all the real estate services that were done get paid. So that's how we get paid.
Right.
And that's how the agent gets paid. And then that's basically how the allocation of all the funds get distributed.
Yeah.
So that's basically what gets rid of all the
meet and greet with money in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. That's nice.
The potential for things like that, but
armed robbery.
Yeah, but it still happens. I mean, I've worked with clients where they've told me like the seller might not be fully aware of these type of like wire transfer frauds and all different types of stuff, and they they maybe get an email saying, oh yeah, it's ready to send over, give us your your account numbers and everything, and then they lost their whole life savings.
And they're just gone.
And their money's somewhere in Egypt or Nigeria or wherever.
Happens more often than you think.
It's pretty often, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would think probably if you're messing with someone at that scale of money that you should just naturally trust just because it's upper scale. But, yeah, if you fucking bank in Egypt, bro, just like cops are just like, yeah, we don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
That shit is gone. That shit is in Abu Dhabi. Like, you're fucking paving a bathroom with gold with your fucking money. That's crazy, dude. So what's the biggest house? It's got to drive you crazy, or is it motivating looking at these fucking houses all the time?
Oh, it's amazing. Going into these houses with like $200,000 just spent in the bathroom or millions of dollars spent in the living room. Even when they're fully furnished and we go check these houses out, I mean, it's very cool. It honestly has made me picky about like what I want,
right?
The house I want in the future.
Same.
I'm like embarrassed to have you guys in this apartment right now. Like you're literally about to go and do probably some fucking multi-million-dollar home in a couple hours. Like, sorry, I smell like poor. I apologize.
Hey, I started in an office and
that's
then third bedroom in the house, and I live in an apartment, so it's
likewise.
Yeah, I feel it. So is it like, what happens more? Is it more motivating? Is it more like I don't know. I feel like if I walked into a $6.2 million home and I had to take pictures of everything, my business would be called like "Wanna Feel Like a Failure." You know what I mean? Or is it like motivating? Like, I'm gonna be in one of these cribs one of these days, or I want a little piece of that, or is it a little bit of both?
That's where I feel at least, and same thing like Nick is that I mean, I've seen so many different types of houses. I mean, just last year in 2020, Nick and I did 452 projects, and that's not just doors, that's like 452 locations,
right?
And so I'm sure after 450 locations you can get a real good idea of what you want your future house to look like.
I my goal one day is to be able to
buy a piece of dirt and build a house.
Yeah.
And now I know from start to finish how I want it to look because I've seen all these cool little attention to detail, upgrades and just shit that I would have never thought I would have seen in a house.
So when you guys do it, you guys are completely by yourself, right? Like when you go to the house, it's just you guys. Like, do you guys get like keys to the house? Is it furnished? Is it empty? Or is it?
It's definitely a mix.
It's a mix?
Yeah, it's never the same from this house to that house. Either the agent lets us in or the owners are not there. If it's empty, it's always different.
Right.
More so with COVID, that definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
We found ourselves doing a lot more listings where it was like, all right, here's the key or here's the code to the lockbox. Make yourself at home and then just lock up when you're done.
I would not be like Nick. Like, I would never ask you when you're hiring because I wouldn't last 2 listings. I'd like walk in, here's the key, and I'd literally walk in and be like,
It's mine
yeah,
now.
we're for sure gonna throw up. What I would do is I'd fucking take all the pictures and I'd take all the video, so I have an exact replica of the house, and I'd fucking call the homies and we'd fucking throw a party. Nothing crazy like American Pie or anything, but I have like a fucking kickback at every fucking house, and then I put everything back exactly the same. I just watched the video that I made.
Well, you have pictures of everything, so you know exactly how everything's placed.
This tasting was here.
Yeah.
This was good. Picture that. That shit would be fucking crazy.
We had a house party when we were like 17 that my friend threw when their parents were out of town, and he totook photos of every room to make sure everything was
Absolutely.
properly.
You know, you have a fucking vase like in the cabinet. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, what with COVID, like, are people buying up houses? Are people selling up houses? Like, how is COVID affecting the fucking market right now?
So it's just contingent on the market. Reno right now is booming.
It must be. They're fleeing the state right now.
Reno is the place to be right now. A few other markets that are similar to ours right now in terms of like the demand exceeding the supply would definitely be places like Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, a few places in the South that are pretty tax friendly. I've heard Boise, Idaho is exploding right now. Right. And for that, just the same exact reason. I mean, you're having this mass exodus of these, major metro areas. So like, I'll take another one. Yeah, thank you.
Sir.
So.
Fucking Nick's ass over here.
All right, slide me one.
Hey. This is a celebratory. We're gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause your answer.
No, you're good, man.
A little celebratory cheers,
Yeah.
First fucking I say this is the first official new room, new equipment. Cheers, guys.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Let's go throw a fucking house party in the next listing. I'm down.
We got a 3:30 today.
See you there.
Right, but anyways, continue.
No, so essentially, it really. Reno is already becoming a very attractive place to a lot of folks.
Right.
Really, since the Tesla effect began, since we started doing all this development out at USA Parkway, it's brought a shit ton of jobs. It's really diversified our economy, and that's why you're seeing, Reno not really being affected by all the COVID circumstances.
Still booming.
Whereas, you see Vegas, and they're not nearly as diversified in terms of economically speaking as we are.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to continue. It doesn't seem like it's going to stop, especially as long as California maintains the same rhetoric that they've been maintaining for the last few years, especially during COVID. I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Right.
So, and that's really all it is. It's you've got folks that are in the Bay Area that have a home that might be worth $1 million, and it's a shack.
Yeah. Literally
a shack.
Literally. There's 2-bedroom homes.
They come over to Reno or another smaller market, even Sacramento. Sacramento's exploding right now too, because it's became an alternative to the Bay in Southern California.
Yeah.
People are showing up with people are showing up with their equity that they had from their house in the Bay, and they're like, I can get the same house for $460 in Reno. Shit, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
And it's been sad, for I think a lot of people in the local market.
It's making them hard to buy a house.
Exactly, like myself included. I was hoping that 2021 would be the year I become a first-time home buyer. It doesn't look like that.
Right.
And it's not to say anything looking down on my finances or anything like that. It's just the circumstances of the market.
Well, you got people in the Bay, like you said, who can pop over here and you can jack the prices up because even though it's a smaller percent of people who can purchase it, there's a large percent of the people in the Bay who can purchase it and they'll come over here and just cash out.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Is
most of
Yep. And most of these California buyers are showing up with cash in hand, a lot more than, you know, like I said, they're already thinking in their head, oh, $700,000-$900,000, but I mean that same listing that they're looking for is probably worth $500,000 in Reno, maybe less sometimes.
Right.
And that's really pushed our locals, you know, Nevadans that have been here for majority of their lives out of that market.
Yeah.
I had even just read a Facebook post of some gal I went to high school with yesterday, and her you know, fiance are looking for a place, and she's saying like, look, it's so depressing that like I can't even like buy a house in the town that I grew up in. You know what I mean? My fiance and I are, you know, we both have good jobs, and we're pushed out of the market, and we're stuck renting a 2-bedroom 2-bath apartment for $2,000 a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Reno's rent right now is at a record high.
Yep.
Was what I was reading. But so I was raised in the Bay, in the North Bay, and it took me a long time, and I think this goes for a lot of Californians. It took me a long time to realize what was going on in that state, because I was born and raised there, right? So, and when I was a kid, I wasn't paying rent or nothing like that. But, you know, once I started working, I got out of high school, and I was working in high school, and then I started working at when I was in college. When I got out of college, I was living in, or I was working in South City in San Bruno. And you don't really think about it because you're always getting California paychecks. That's only the rent that you see and all that stuff and the expenses and the taxes. You don't really think about it. And then I moved here in Nevada in 2015. And it's funny, ironically, I moved into this complex in 2015, into this floor plan of this apartment, and this room that we're sitting in was my bedroom. And it was like $200. And I thought it was just crazy, and I thought it was just because it was a small space. And then I really started to like shop around. And I fucking moved immediately to Somerset, to the suburbs. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of eye-opening how low the rent was here, and it's like fucking gum is cheaper in Reno. You know, gas was cheaper, the taxes were lower, no state income tax. Like,
and it's changed so quickly.
Yeah, it took like a $30,000 pay cut, and I made almost a little bit more every paycheck. And then it really hit me when I moved back to California in 2018. And on paper, right?
For the Santa Rosa, right?
For the Santa Rosa Sort Manager, right. So I was in Windsor, so North Bay, Sonoma County. Really, really very expensive, very nice place. That's where I grew up. On paper, I was at $109,000. And I was broke as fuck. Yeah. And I popped open my first check after this huge raise, and I was super excited. And I opened up my check. I was like, where the fuck is my money at? Like, they, on average, that entire year, they were taking 32% out of my check because I moved into a different tax bracket.
Yep. My best friend, he just got a job at Penhall, which is, I believe it's like demolition and restoration, all different types of stuff like that. Right. So he gets a lot of these prevailing wage jobs and goes out to California like fairly regularly. And he's like, bro, I'm never working in California again. Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
and I'm
it taxes the shit out of you.
And he's like, well, I'm making $50 an hour, but they're taking $1,000 out of my paycheck every week.
It's wild.
Like,
and you don't really know unless you leave.
Yeah.
You know, like you get an idea. Like everyone in California knows that it's cheaper in other places, but until you really leave, it's fucking shocking.
You don't realize the difference.
And I've heard a lot of people, and the big fear is that, you know, and I love that people are, you know, they got the freedom to move and do what they want to do, but there's a big fear that people from California will come out here and they will bring their tendencies and their voting practices with them.
Exactly what's happening.
You know, and
it's unfortunately already began.
And it's starting quickly. Like I was talking to my son's mom not too long ago, and we were looking at Dallas, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, Georgia, you know, Phoenix, Scottsdale, you know, Tampa, different places, just because, like you said, it's quickly happening, like very, very quickly, which is strange to me. Like if you're fleeing a fucking state, like why wouldn't you come?
Why would you bring
and change
the
your
laws
practices
and views from California to somewhere that doesn't have it
right.
when you're trying to run away from it? Yeah.
Like I love the progressive attitude and kind of like a, you know, tone to California, which is nice, but there's no denying that
it's destroying itself.
Yeah. And, you know, I hate to get, like, you know, too political in any way, but it seems like it doesn't matter what the state, whether it be Democrat or Republican, if you have one state that is aggressively run and controlled by either party for too long, the scale starts to
see
get
what's
very
going on.
strange. You know what I mean? And
it's just
tipped.
like in the South, it's the opposite. It's the Bible Belt, and it's heavily read and very conservative, and it's not going to change anytime
right.
soon.
And you see people that are kind of like in an economic standstill in those places. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I don't know, very very strange. Like, but they're fleeing. They're fucking fleeing like crazy. Like shit. We've had people that are jumping ship from our Nevada station. You know what I mean? That are just trying to go. I mean, why not? Like, what I pay here, I could go to Houston and get a 5-bedroom house, 3-bath, 3,200 square feet on a 6,000 square foot lot in a gated community.
Yeah, I mean, right now, people our age are looking at houses in Fernley, Fallon, all these outlying communities that you would typically be like, I'm not living there. Hell no.
Even my black ass was looking at Fernley. I was like, I could be the token. I'd be down, slide through there one time, you know? Because I went through there, my boss is like, oh, yeah, Fernley's great, you know? Like, it's cheap. There's really nice houses. And I went to go pick him up one time. I was like, I don't know about all this. Like, I'm sure it's a great place. But,
no disrespect to Fernley. There's a lot of nice houses, it's definitely on the lower end, but that's definitely not a place I could call home.
Yeah, I mean, take it how you want. Whether you want to call it racist or not, I could give a shit. Like, I need some black people around me, and you know, and some Mexicans. I need some Mexicans around me.
Some
you know
diversity.
what I mean? I need some diversity, bro. Like, I'm so used to Northern California, which is just like it has a very, very
like a melting pot.
Yeah, and it has a very big, like, Northern California has a huge Mexican tone to it. Like, the culture is very heavy Mexican, like, and obviously the population as well, and it's a melting pot. Like, if you really crunch the numbers, the diversity is pretty scarce anywhere that you go. Like, even if you're going to Sonoma County, it's more diverse, but black population is like 2%. Like Reno's decently diverse, but if you were to like look at the numbers, I think it's like 2.6% black, like 1.6% Asian, 6% Mexican, and then. Yeah. And then you bastards.
And then there's us.
And then there's you guys.
But I mean, even myself, who's, you know, obviously I'm white, but you know, as somebody that has dual citizenship, as an American Israeli person that, you know, is also Jewish, I also feel that way in a lot of senses. I mean, you know, where you have the Jewish community that's very strong in California, especially like Southern California, it's very non-existent in Reno. So I mean, this was something I struggled with, especially growing up, was like, I didn't feel like I fit in. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. Like, most of my friends are people of color, because growing up, I felt like I was somewhere in the middle. Right. You know, like white people didn't see me as one of them because they knew I was, you know, Jewish, or English is my second language. Right. You know, whereas I don't think that would be such an obstacle if I were to live in a bigger community, or surrounded by a bigger community of Jewish people. Right. You know, like English, like I said, English is my second language. I learned Hebrew first. I mean,
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I mean, I could tell. You know,
the first time I heard him speak, I was like,
something?
I thought he went into real estate because he's creative. He's fucking Jewish.
Yeah, man. So, you know, fortunately enough, I have a lot of people that I consider like my second family who are Israeli that, you know, I'm in contact with here. But besides that, there's not an Israeli community nor a Jewish community here because, like you said, it's not a very diverse, you know, area compared to California.
There's also like there's not a lot of roots here in Reno that I've noticed, because I feel like not a vast majority, but there's a large population in Reno that are transplants. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't quite that like generational stability here, because there's people coming from all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, you know, especially from California, but a lot of people that I've talked to, you know, just when I moved here in 2015, this is a completely different place. Completely different place. You know what I mean? And there's so many transplants, which is cool, because you kind of get like you get to sprinkle a little bit of everybody here, and you know, as time goes, Reno kind of create its own culture. But you know, I feel like it attracts transplants because of the type of city that it was. You know, casino, and you know, it's a fucking party town, that's for sure. For sure. College town. You got people come.
2.0.
Yeah, and I feel like I see that too when there's big universities. or just universities. Like you have UNR, you have people who come from all over the world to go to UNR, and then they fall in love with it after 4 or 5 years, and they just never leave.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like to us, like we're like, oh, it's just UNR. It's not that crazy. But like you hear other people talk about UNR from like different places, and they're like, this school is the shit.
Yeah,
like,
it's top notch. It's a top notch university.
It's also becoming a harder school to get into.
Is it?
Yeah, it's,
I can only imagine.
Building, it's growing. Well,
fucking every bitch with a ponytail wants to be an RN now, and you guys have a super good fucking you know what I'm saying, bro? It's so fucking true, bro. Like how many bitches in their fucking bio are like registered nurse? I'm like, god damn, you're lucky COVID hit. Like I know there's not that many people fucking dying, but you know what I mean? But I know that the nursing program is dope there, and Renown's like, how many fucking Renowns are in Reno? Like 30? Like sweet fuck, it's crazy.
Well, you've even got like Northern Nevada Medical Center. They're building a new campus in South Reno right now.
Oh really?
Like literally a whole new hospital that's like the same size as the one in Sparks.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Like I don't know if you remember where like the old South Reno building was, the FedEx building.
Yeah, I remember.
Right
South
over,
Reno.
like literally 2 minutes away.
I helped gut that shit. I helped gut that shit, and then we gutted right next door was the Smart Post building, which I didn't even know, by the way.
Dude, that old building was wild. There were like rules did not exist there.
Right.
It was the Wild West.
I miss old school.
I do too.
We're gonna not say you know.
Why?
We're not gonna. but I miss that shit. I miss like. Okay, here we go. I fucking miss blue collar work when I first started blue collar work in like 2012. Like
Dude.
I miss that shit.
Dude, when I first got into FedEx, like it was pretty fun. Yeah. Right, sorry, I shouldn't have
There you
mentioned
go.
it.
There you
But,
fucking
we
go
started.
again, huh?
When I first started working with my hands when I got out of high school, like it was kind of fun. You know,
Right.
It was almost like an extension of high school because most of the people that I worked with were close to my age.
Yeah.
So it was like I said, it was kind of a social hour. You got to fuck around and shoot the shit with people,
Right.
and if you were struggling in a trailer, that person was struggling. So like people felt your pain,
anger and pain.
So it was like it would be break time. Maybe it's 10 minutes, but everybody would be hanging out in the parking lot, just chopping it up.
Yeah, every time there's a fucking lunch at FedEx, it looks like a goddamn Cypress Hill concert in the fucking parking lot, dude. But I could like relate blue collar work to like athletics, like kind of like you said, like one truck you're struggling right here, and next person struggling. It's like conditioning, and everyone that showed up to work.
Oh, for
like
sure.
You could push everybody, like we are here to physically work. It's not here to be like loungy and easy. And you used to be able to push that on people.
Yep.
Like it needs to happen. Like lunch. Can you do this job with one hand, then fucking eat with your other and figure it the fuck out,
10
right?
minutes ago.
And now it's like, I really need you to speed up. We're getting backed up, and like, like you can't say anything to anybody anymore. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, like you'd be like, your productivity is very low, and they're like, trigger, like I just called you like a fucking tranny or like the wrong gender pronoun or something like that, and it's like, like dude, just fucking work,
Isn't that crazy? That was what. 3-4 years ago.
It's wild how quick it's changed.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I need you to do this. And they're like, another one? Like, yeah, that's
your job.
That's literally why you showed up here, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy to me. Like, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. Like, okay, well, my employee answer is, well, I need you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, making sure that you're hydrated, because this is a very physical job, and we don't want you to get injured. Safety is the most important. And the Ricky Sims answer is like,
say it with
I don't
a smile on your face.
Yeah. The Ricky Sims answer is, I don't give a fuck how you slept last night. Did you clock in? It's game time, bitch.
Yeah,
Fourth quarter.
Go.
Let's run this shit. Do you need a Red Bull? Because I'm not going to buy you one because I'm already paying you.
there.
Go buy a fucking Red Bull. Man, I miss that shit. The culture is changing. I mean, I used to say millennials, but I am a millennial, but I just fucking, it drives me fucking crazy. There was this,
It's the Z-Gen.
yeah, I've said it multiple times, and I'm going to see if I can find it here. I said it on my last podcast. And I think it's like a perfect example of what's going on in our culture and society. It's hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Or on cancel culture.
Yeah, I think we're on weak men, or whatever you want to. Jesus Christ, I'm like getting into. I'm like or woman, and or whatever you identify as. Rocks, trees, whatever. Whoever creates
I'm a Ford F-150 on Wednesdays.
Yeah. I'm a fucking Kia Soul on Saturday. But I feel like we're at. I feel
green's
like
a good color on you, Ricky.
Thanks, man. Not only is it fucking green, it's like green as fuck. It's like Hulk green. I saw this. I've had like 4 people send me this TikTok, and it's like people taking clips of Kias driving around, and they're like, first of all, like, who the fuck goes onto a car lot to buy a Kia fucking Soul? And lastly, who buys the green fucking Kia Soul? And it's like zooming in on the car, and I'm just like, yep.
Fuck me, right?
That would be me. I feel like I get out of the Kia Soul and people are like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm like the size of my fucking car. But I feel like we're at weak men create hard times. Like, I think it's a blessing and a curse. Like, I feel like technology has become so good, and we've become very progressive. And when it comes to like equality and fair treatment and the convenience of tech and how like cross-correlated the entire world is when it comes to trade and technology and news, information, education. But I also feel like it's softened the skin of a lot of people because of the convenience. So if you remove any type of that convenience, like everyone's so used to having everything at their fingertips, and then you walk into a place like, and it's like you got to move everything by hand. You're sweating. It's tough. It's hard. You're pushing yourself mentally and physically, and you're completely out of your comfort zone and not quite ready to acclimate to get back into your comfort zone. And I feel like I think it's a good thing, but I also think it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a scary time. I feel like you got to walk on eggshells about everything nowadays. Right. You know.
Big facts.
Didn't we grow up watching South Park?
Yeah. Oh my Seriously. God! Right? How are they even still airing?
Straight up.
You know, like I would watch things from. Dude, I watch old like Disney movies, and I'm like, no fucking way could they do that shit again.
Nope.
Like I was watching like an old black and white Mickey Mouse like film. It was like an old Disney film, and there was literally like they're in a church. And everyone's white in the church, and it's like this tar black character with a tar black baby, and the baby's crying. And it just keeps crying, and the lady goes into her purse and just pulls out a fucking massive watermelon and just shoves it in the baby's mouth, and the baby just starts smashing the watermelon, stops crying. And I was literally watching that like, canceled immediately. Like, uproar. BLM's in the streets once again.
Riots.
That should be fucking crazy. It's a very strange thing.
Dude, like cartoons back in the day used to portray like minorities wild.
Aggressively.
Yeah, like I've seen, I don't know if you've ever seen this one. It was called like Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done like psychedelics, but I feel like to be able to understand it, you have to be on acid or something, some sort of psychedelics. I mean, like they were all the black people in the show were crows, and then all the Jews were dogs, and then all the Asians had like teeth like that just like hung out of their of their mouth. Hello, like, it was a whole thing, dude. Like, and like I mean, given it's from the 70s, but you look at it.
Hello. Oh, Confucius say this cartoon is very good. Can't do that shit anymore.
No, you can't.
Can't do it. Like Pepe Le Pew, get the fuck out of here. Try to air Pepe Le Pew. Like this nigga's raping everyone that he sees. Or you remember Johnny Bravo?
Oh yeah.
I love Johnny Bravo.
I love Johnny Bravo. I'm inspired. I still like strive to be Johnny Bravo. I think he's the man. Live with your mom, chase a bunch of bitches, wear black tees every day. Fucking about that life, bro. But you could never put that shit on anymore. You know what I mean? Now it's like Paw Patrol. Like my kid watches Paw Patrol. I literally watched Johnny Bravo when I was like 4 years old. You know what I mean? Pepe Le Pew, or like
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah. No way.
No way.
No fucking way, dude. Ren and Stimpy, keep dreaming. Keep fucking dreaming.
That one dark ass one with the dog, the pink
Courage.
dog. Courage the dog.
Oh,
yeah.
Courage the They just beat the dog up.
Yeah.
Like that. They just beat that dog up all the time. The dog is literally doing its job to protect the home, and that old dude just beats the shit out of the dog all the time. And I'm like, good. Or like freaky shows. Cat Dog.
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
There's some weird shit.
Like I've gone back and looked at and watched some like I try to get my kid on some OG shit. Like I'll have him watch Saturday morning cartoons, and you can buy all those. You can buy like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And you know, I'll be watching like, you know, Elmer Fudd hunting Donald Duck, and some of the stuff that happens, I'm like, this is like very murderous and suspect.
It's pretty dark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird.
But we grew up watching it.
I grew up watching that shit.
And now it's like you watch it now. It's who are you? You're racist. You beat your dog. You get labeled like immediately.
There's no way that shit could work. Or like there was this viral clip that went around, and it was Tom and Jerry, and it was Tomcat walks over to like this chick to like show off to this chick, and this motherfucker on Saturday morning cartoons like rolls a cigarette, smashes the cigarette in one puff, like blows it in her face, and the chick's like got wop off that and is all about it, and I'm like, yeah, you couldn't do that shit either.
No.
Fucking crazy, dude. What a weird transition in
Nah, but you can't compare the old cartoons to like the ones they got going on today.
No way. I was watching this thing, and you guys might have seen it. It was going viral. It was showing like old, like Winnie the Pooh and like Jungle Book like right next to each other, and it was showing how it would do the same. The animation was exactly the same. They just changed the backdrop and the characters. Did you see that?
No.
I'm literally gonna show it to you right now, because it was. I was literally absolutely shocked. I feel like I might have saved it, but it was it was Winnie the Pooh, and it was the Jungle Book, and there's literally like a 2-minute scene where the scene is exactly the same. The exact same things are happening. It's just different characters, and it looks like they just plug and played the animation. Let me see. Oh, this is one that I haven't even seen. We'll go Robin Hood and Snow White. This is crazy. Watch this. Isn't that wild? It's just like you watch the same movie, just different settings.
Yeah, well, it's just like the media. I mean, I saw this one video. I mean, giving the guys like a total like a non-whack job type of deal, but I mean, it definitely raises some eyebrows. There was they'd shown literally like all these local news channels will use the same exact script and the same exact stance on like if it's like a major story. Let's say it's like it was like about like the BLM protests in the summer.
Right.
Literally all the local channels across the country use the same exact thing.
Yeah, that is a trip.
It's literally like, I don't know how it is at the national level, but the local level news, it's literally a one size fits all now at this point. Like they're not doing their own research anymore.
Right. What was it? Was it Ivanka Trump or whatever the fuck her name is, who did like she had a speech, and like someone found like a speech that was done by like Michelle Obama, and it was a fucking like spinning image, like the exact same lines. It's pretty much the same exact speech.
It was Melania. It was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
What did I call her?
Ivanka's the daughter, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know shit. I just think
it's all in the past now. At this point, yeah, they're gone
now. Everyone's like, you can't even bring up Trump anymore without being like shut down. And I just want to talk about how hot his fucking wife is, but you can't even get to that because I can't get past it. So that's why I don't know her name. She'll always be Ivanka Trump in my eyes. Yeah. I like Ivanka. Oh my gosh. So you were saying something earlier when you were setting up, and you said passion projects. Is that what you said?
That is exactly what I said.
So this sounds like this is a new evolution of Tourdspace?
So, with all the extra time that we've had, I mean, typically winter is one of our slower seasons, without a doubt. Because the real estate market in Reno is definitely more seasonal. You see a lot of the higher end listings going up during the spring and the summer. Right. So it begins to drop off around like November, December, and then things will start picking up. I'd say about starting next month. Yeah, starting next month or April. That's when things will really start.
Winter, early spring.
That's when things will start booming. So now that we've especially over 2020, we really have been able to build quite the infrastructure around us. Whereas before, I mean, our niche, and we stayed in our niche, was just the real estate media and video stuff.
Right.
Whereas now, I mean, we have a full-time editor, Miles, who does, you know, fantastic work. We've got Nick, who's just so creative and really, you know, outside of the box type of guy. I'm just a guy with a camera, but nonetheless, you know, we've really tried to take advantage of the assets and the skills that we have and not let it go to waste.
Right.
So we've been trying to take this extra time that we have, that we're not so, you know, slammed with work, you know, because typically, I mean, literally once spring starts, I mean, we're running from house to house nonstop. There's no break in it. Whereas now we've had some time to really like think about like what type of projects we want to do and how do we want to move forward with this company. You know, because even though I am the owner of the company, I consider these guys my equal. It's not like I'm their boss.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? Everybody has their own creative
Input. He doesn't make you call him daddy or anything.
No, you know,
non-public.
Non-public, right? Yeah.
yeah.
What we do alone in those houses is our fucking business. All right.
Yeah. Why are you asking, Ricky?
Yeah.
What the
Yes.
hell,
That's my
bro?
fault. It's my fault, dude. Shit, man. Fuck.
But nonetheless, you know, so it's really given us a lot of time to really think about, you know, how we want to move our company to, you know, expand and diversify. So that's really it. That's why we're doing this podcast. That's why we're doing projects with JJ. We did a really fun passion project with his buddy Logan, where we did some work with his Volkswagen. You know, him driving around town, getting some cool shots. We got some stuff going on with a TV wall mount guy.
God, that fucking JJ video is so dope.
Yeah.
Like, I hope everyone goes and watches it, and I see you guys posting it on your story. Like, keep your that video is so badass.
Yeah. Again, we've got another one coming out soon, the full length version.
And that's right up your alley, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause you did multiple when we were working together. You did one with JJ, and you would come and shoot me. So, going into these passion projects and kind of doing the hype and those action shots and things like that, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, definitely, like you were doing the personal trainer. I wanted to get in with JJ, do those collabs. Yeah, I really enjoyed like the sports aspect.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things we've really wanted to start getting into, is doing a lot of action sports stuff, a lot of fast-paced stuff. Yeah. I think a lot of the stuff we do with like real estate, don't get me wrong, and we love it and it's a lot of fun and we love going from house to house and interacting with clients, but I think it's a lot of it is not necessarily cookie cutter, but I think we have to have like some sort of professional look to it. Right. So we only have so much that we can do in terms of like the creativity.
Yeah, it's got to be classy and stuff like
that. There's some sort of ceiling that you have when we're shooting a real estate video that you don't have a ceiling with when you're shooting a video with JJ. Right. I couldn't have thrown that ASAP Ferg track on top of a $2 million
$2 million home.
Yeah.
Who? Just on the back porch. That's what I'm saying. Throw that house party. Yeah. Like, look at all this space. There's got to be 150 people in this living room.
Yeah. So that's really it. And I think, you know, given we're not making, you know, we're not monetizing a huge amount off of these passion projects that we're doing right now. But soon. But I think eventually it's gonna really pay off. I mean, because don't get me wrong, we're having so much fun doing these projects.
Can't do shit for free for too long though.
We're taking pride in it, and I think it'll, you know, by the end of the spring, if not summer, we're gonna have such a extensive, diverse portfolio to show people, and people will really be able to see, okay, these guys are capable of doing literally anything that we ask them to.
Weddings, music videos, everything. We want to get into these things. It is the way of the future, especially you know, not just monetizing off real estate. There's so much you can do with a camera.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's dope that you're working with JJ, and I think it'd be smart for you guys to get into the sports aspect of it, especially combat sports, because in my personal opinion, like, when it comes to, I mean, how many movies are made off of those training montages in movies, you know what I mean? Like those hype scenes and like you did with JJ, those are so physically appealing, and sports is, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, sports is a massive staple in our country. Like when COVID hit and sports shut down, like that was one of the most detrimental things. And living in Reno, a casino, like, gambling state, like, I think getting into fighting sports is dope. Like most of my guests are fucking combat athletes, so like you guys should link up with them, and because you guys can make some dope shit with those guys. You know, like I had Autumn Norton on here and Cam Sandoval, and I was watching some of their videos, and I was like, and watching some of their fights, and I think one of them has a hype video. I think Autumn kind of has a hype video going on, and I was like, thinking of the JJ video. I was like, oh, we got to get these guys together because that's a massive piece of publicity when it comes to athletes. When you got a fucking hype video, like I'll watch a LeBron James hype video and I'm like, all right, I'll watch the Lakers. I don't
Time to play
Lakers.
basketball.
Yeah, it's time to play basketball.
Time my shoes.
Let me get my fat ass to see if I can still fit in them shoes. Yeah. So do you guys obviously have, I mean, you're doing podcasts, you have no ceiling, but is there, when it comes to these passion projects, is there something that you guys are trying to fit into more than another, or are you guys just kind of openly trying to take any type of creative project?
I mean, really, more than anything, we've just been trying to diversify ourselves and build our skills. I mean, so we've never been acting like we're too good for a particular project, or or
we can't do it.
We don't act like we're not capable of doing it. It's like, okay, if we don't have the skills or the equipment to do it, how can we?
Yeah,
just like this.
We'll sit down and just jot like, okay, this is what we need. Mm-hmm. What shots, what angles, how are we going to get something that we have never done before?
I mean, just like this podcast, once we realized that like the way we tried it 2 weeks ago wasn't practical, we did our research and spent hours trying to figure out what's the most practical way to do this at a full scale.
Like you're editing the podcast right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm running it off this cool little
what the fuck
ATEM switcher, baby.
Shit is lit. I think that's I don't know. That's just dope as fuck. Like I'm a huge fan of like I'm a YouTube rabbit holer. So like I'll go into.
I love YouTube.
Yeah, like before you guys got here, I just typed in Team USA highlights, and they'll do like hype clips of the NBA teams just taking a massive shit on every other country during the Olympics, But those things are so fucking fun to watch. Like I'll watch like hype clip. You know what I just saw? I just saw a fucking hype clip of Godzilla vs Kong.
Ooh. It looks cool. It looks good.
Who are you taking?
That's hard. See, that's the thing. I'm gonna go with King Kong because they scaled it to Godzilla's size.
I was about to say I have issues.
Like
I have issues.
Like this.
Like
you can't.
How is that even okay? So I'm excited.
Nick knows his stuff. Don't question him.
No, watch. Preempt a lot because we're gonna go in here for a second. I'm very excited about the movie, but thank you. Like. He either has to be a Titan or something, because when I saw the first commercial, I was like, oh, that's so dope. But then I was also like, how the fuck are these two even fighting?
Right.
Because, I mean, the creator of King Kong wanted him to be 50 feet. Most of the movies, they're scaling him at about 35 to 40 feet. Mm-hmm. They'll send a crew of 15 fucking men and one bitch in a white dress, and they will capture King Kong. Mm-hmm. How many times have we, like, captured Godzilla? Like, how are these two fighting? Yeah. Like, we'll use sedatives on fucking King Kong. I'm like, you can knock this motherfucker out with a tranquilizer and put him on a boat? Like, Godzilla accidentally...
He's the size of Godzilla now?
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, it's going to be dope. Yeah, but I was like, cool. My dad's, like, a big nerd, too, and so am I, and we were like, Godzilla would, like, accidentally step on Kong and kill him in reality. You know what I mean? Like, they brought him... The trailer's dope as fuck, but they bring him out in a boat in chains. Like, when have we even, like, oh, let's just chain up Godzilla?
Question is did you guys see that thing about, like, Japan, like, officially, like, named Godzilla, like, a citizen of Japan?
Really?
Yeah, this was, like, this week.
They don't fuck around with that shit.
Yeah.
You guys know about the whole Godzilla debacle back in the day, right? When we made that movie in 92?
No.
Okay, so there's the Godzilla movie in 92. Right? Do you guys remember? I think it was 92. And it's like, I forget what the actor's name is, but it's a badass movie. It's where Godzilla, he comes, obviously, he hops into Madison Square Garden, and he lays a bunch of eggs in Madison Square Garden, right? And they're, like, chasing him down the whole nine. But there's, like, Japan had very, like, huge reservations to give us the rights to do the movie, and there were tons and tons of rules. Like, he can't reproduce.
I did not know
He cannot die, right? Because, he's, like you said, he's a citizen. He's like a monumental figure.
Is that going to toll into the new movie? He cannot die?
It's got to be. So they killed him in the movie. I know this is the big one. They killed him, and they stripped the rights. That's why we didn't see a Godzilla movie for almost 20 years. They were like, absolutely not. You cannot make another movie. Like, it was a huge... I didn't know about it at the time, but it was a huge uproar. And that's why the new one... it's the original style Godzilla. The big, bulky, short-armed Godzilla, because the one in 92 was like a lizard. They, like, changed the way the character looks. They fucking killed him. He laid eggs. Like, They were
destroyed what
they
Godzilla
fucked it all
was.
up. Yeah. And they were like, well, fuck you, America. Right? I hope you're like, watch Hawaii. We might fucking come at you guys again.
Just
like,
watch.
You just fucking watch. Yeah. I'm excited to go see it though. That shit looks dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, King Kong and Godzilla fighting. I mean, it doesn't get much, especially because have you guys seen the other Godzillas?
Mhm.
Oh, they're badass. You haven't seen the other two?
Mm-mm.
King of Monsters and the one in San Francisco?
No.
Godzilla literally destroys the city of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Demolishes.
flattens it.
Can that be a thing? Like,
I mean, I think it's crazy how fucking movies
it's
do
already
that.
too far
How much
gone.
do I gotta pay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Or like there's a Transformers movie where they're in Chicago and they level the whole fucking city.
Wow.
Like the entire city. And when I was watching the Godzilla in San Francisco, you know, I was in the Bay all the time when I was younger. I'm like, oh my God, they're fucking destroying all these buildings. Like, this is like, the CGI is just getting out of control.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you can make King Kong fucking 300. Godzilla's 350 feet tall,
Yeah.
people.
Put his current size on the Empire State Building.
Yeah, like, yeah, he. I was looking at this and like, I was watching Skull Island, and Kong holds a human being in his hand.
In his hand.
You know what I mean? Like, Godzilla is pushing monsters through like 300-story buildings. I feel like this would be like Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. Like, I feel like this is a huge mismatch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I don't see that going well.
No way.
No.
Jake Paul's big though.
Dude, I've
putting a
seen
lot of
some
training.
videos of him
Yeah.
like wrestling. And,
He's a big
like,
boy.
No, he's talented. He's like, you know, given he's a YouTuber, but like
Right.
he's got skills. He's no joke.
I just don't. I mean, I don't give a fuck how old Floyd Mayweather is. Like, I think he would beat the living shit out of Jake Paul.
Is it Mayweather and Jake Paul, or is it Jake Paul?
Which one's Jake? Jake is the one going after McGregor.
McGregor.
I heard he wants to fight Jake and Logan. Like,
I think Logan wants to go Mayweather and Jake wants to go McGregor.
Yep.
Right,
That's it. Because I know the Mayweather fight's locked in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
The McGregor fights, like, Jake is giving cash offers to get McGregor to fight. He offered him $50 million just to fight him.
Yeah, but like I think, I mean, we saw McGregor in this round when he fought Dustin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
Super calm, collect, respectful, and people are like, why isn't he so the old McGregor?
Yeah,
I'm like, he just pulled up in a fucking $50 million Lamborghini yacht to Abu Dhabi. Like, he doesn't need to be mean to anyone anymore.
No.
He doesn't need to
For
punch
sure.
old men at bars anymore. Like, he's doing it. But I think Mayweather beat the shit out of him. Pound for pound, do you think he's the best boxer? Oh, here we go.
that's good, man. I don't know. He knows how to win, but do I think he's the best? No.
No, he's got to be arguably though one of the best boxers to ever step.
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
ring,
He's
you know?
easy top 5.
What do you think about these fucking YouTubers? Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this shit.
It's the money, man. And that's the thing that's sketchy is, like, is this fight going to be off the money?
Right.
Because they're not fighting, like, weight to weight, obviously.
I think it's bad for boxing.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
very
long term.
bad. You're
I
looking
think-
at
I think it is,
celebrities
too.
reaching
It's bad for
into the
boxing.
pot.
It's
Like-
turning into like WWE now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I
It's
think
just
Jake,
a show. It's not
I think,
a battle.
yeah, Jake Paul and KSI or whatever, like jumping into it, like the way they did. I think it makes it look like it's, you know,
A joke.
it's
Like-
charades.
Like,
yeah.
how the fuck can a Jake Paul even have the audacity to call out someone like McGregor? You know, or like
It's
or like
just
Logan,
He called out his baby moms. They called her
Yeah.
a 4 or something like that. Like, that's crazy.
or like how
Well,
is
think
Logan?
about it. Think of MGK and Eminem. Think of that whole bash.
That was
it's
dope.
It's legit, the money. Like,
Right.
even if they lose, they're making stuff off
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But you even have beefs now that are staged.
Yeah.
Like you had what was that clown? Tekashi 6ix9ine had a
God.
yeah. I don't even want to start with that guy.
Oh
but
my God.
Tekashi 6ix9ine had fake beef with Trippie Redd
Right.
just for likes and engagements on their
Shares.
social. Yeah.
I hate this word and it shouldn't be used, but when I think of Tekashi, I'm like, what a fucking fag. Like a 1995 fag definition. Like, not a homosexual. I got nothing wrong with that, but when you're just a fucking fag, like, I hate that fool so fucking much. 1, you're a snitch. 2, you're super fake. And then also, like, how much attention he got made me hate him even more. I'm like, are we really looking into this fool?
He definitely figured out the algorithm of like making money though.
He
on
killed
social
it.
media.
Yep. He's
like,
out right now.
I respect him for, but like the person that he is, no,
not at all. He taints the game. You know, I really like there's some people that I have beef with because of that. Like that open doors. Like, you know, like the McGregor Mayweather fight. I loved that fight. But it definitely opened the door to people cross-pollinating into different combat sports. Or like Tekashi or Drake. Like, I really like Drake. I love Drake's music. But I believe that he, like, opened the door to get into the rap game and not be a gangster. You know, like, pre-Drake, it was hood. It was like West Coast Connection. It was gangbangers. It was Diddy. It was Big. It was Exhibit. It was all these cats. Gucci Man. Young Jock.
Do you consider him to be like a culture vulture in a lot of ways though?
Culture vulture, what's that? Like a black cartoon character? Like
No, so more than anything, it's like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like over the years he's definitely like tried different things and new flows, and like every album sounds different. I mean, yes, I like that in a sense, but at the same time, like More Life, right? For example, like he totally adopted that Caribbean flow,
right.
You know what I mean? And like took like bit off a lot of like those like UK like grime rappers.
Yeah.
I think essentially like it's put a lot of people like on the map. Like you got people like Skepta that from like the UK, or like Gigs that are like big names now because of Drake, you know, incorporating that type of style into his music. But then you also have stuff where he's like incorporated a lot of shit from like ATL rap, or like, you know, like H-Town type of vibes, and like people don't like that.
I don't want to give Drake that credit, because I don't think that was Drake. Because if you think back, like I think a big thing that started that was Jay-Z and Linkin Park. Like they started.
And I love that tape.
Oh, it was awesome.
That shit.
They started to cross pollinate, and then like Lil Wayne kind of went on his rock star shit for a little bit. Wiz Khalifa did that shit, and that was before Weezy, or like when Nelly and Tim McGraw collabed, and they were collabing with the other genres of music.
Love that song. I can't keep over and over again.
Bro, I don't give a fuck.
And it hurts so bad.
Put him on the mic. Put him on the mic.
Bro, the music video, I was watching this, I was like, making sure I was alone, because like, I'm feeling pretty gay in here watching this music video, but I'm loving it, you know?
No, me and Nick will be in my apartment working, and Shem will slap that song.
Because it's all in my head. I'm just like, I think about it over and over again. I'd be like white girl wasted in the front row, bro, if I was at that concert. But I think it happened pre him. I think now with the technology, you're able to do that solo. You know, like when Snoop Dogg went to Jamaica and he made that album Snoop Lion.
The Rasta one.
The Rasta one. Dog shit album. Oh my, it was fucking
rough.
so bad. Love you though, West Coast Connect, but Jesus Christ, Snoop, that was fucking garbage. So I think it's been happening pre-Drake. So I don't think that he opened the door, but I do think he's the biggest biter I've ever seen in the music industry.
He's had the most success off of biting over the people.
He'll take word for fucking word verses, like whole verses. You know, like how many Too Short fucking verses has he used in his song, and it's just like all good? I don't really understand that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is he's like, even like Take Care, he bit off of a lot of like that Bay Area influence.
Oh yeah.
And then like he had that if you're reading this, it's too late. Then it's then he bit off of a lot of like that southern like ATL stuff. Like like the Six, that's an Atlanta thing. That's not from Canada.
Right. Oh no.
Like the Six is Zone 6 in Atlanta, which is like where Gucci Mane's from, where Jid is from,
Waka
like
Flocka,
Waka Flocka, Outkast, the Dungeon Family,
Boosie.
like yeah. That's not Canada, like
yeah. The 666. People in Toronto are like, what the fuck is he? What do you mean? Like, what the fuck?
Like it's cool and all, but like I mean, at least give credit to those guys. You know what I mean?
I love the Southern style. Like I think I like Southern style because I grew up on Bay Area music, and like Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka, Jock, Jeezy. It was just straight up. It was almost hyphy. It was like a different style of hyphy. Just that fucking turn up music, you know what I mean?
I used to be super obsessed with Outkast. I still am in a sense. I love Outkast.
How can you not?
Yeah, no, like you know, obviously you've heard all the stuff that's on the radio that they put on that's still up to this day.
Right.
I remember, you know, something came on from like an Outkast. This was when I was like 16, 17. It was something from Aquemini. That Aquemini album came on to like my Pandora station. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And I like went balls deep in Outkast. Like, and like,
I mean, when you actually listen to like Outkast drop a verse, he's literally one of the most talented rappers I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Andre and Big Boy they're easily, in my opinion, the best rap duo of all time.
Unbelievable. But there's a lot of sleepers like that who it's a bummer because the people, I think as music has evolved, the people with cultural influence have kind of fell, not to the wayside, but like, you know, you got guys like Lupe Fiasco, and you got guys like Nas, you guys got like Mos Def, and Andre 3000, who like are just absolutely lyrical monsters, but they don't really jump on club beats. You know, they're not on like those big hitter beats.
They stuck in their lane.
Yeah, but I love the people who have gotten out doing that, like J. Cole and like Kendrick Lamar. Like they'll go on big beats, but they're fucking lyrical monsters.
For sure.
Do you guys like this? How do you guys feel about this kind of new generation of hip hop and rap?
How do you feel about Tom McDonald?
Who the fuck is Tom McDonald?
Oh no!
Only McDonald I fuck with. Right now. Only McDonald I fuck with is Mr. Ronald. Ronald McFucking Donald.
I'll tell you this.
The McRib is back.
I'll tell you this. He's got views about America and he shares them. No
he's
filter.
From Canada.
Yeah, he's from.
He's from the 666.
No filter, no nothing. And he's entirely independent.
He's a strong, independent woman. Every fucking time Nick talks, we just start going off on tangent, bro. My bad.
That's what I do.
Okay, so who is this fucking guy? Ronald or whatever the fuck his name is.
Tom McDonald.
He's a rapper, and his name is Tom?
Well, yes. He's very against hip hop. It's very weird. You got to really kind of listen to what he's got to say.
Okay.
He's totally independent. No PR, no record label, no marketing gigs, nothing.
Right.
He shoots it and writes his videos. His girlfriend shoots the videos as well, and it's just him and his girlfriend. Really? Nothing else. And
what's the girlfriend's name?
Nova Rockefeller, a part of the Rockefeller family.
Okay. One.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
I would for sure knock that bitch up. Two.
Yeah, don't pull out that one.
I'd fall asleep in it, just in case. Way cooler name than Tom McDonald. But anyway, so he hates rap.
He's totally changing what rap and hip hop is. Mm-hmm. I mean, totally independent, and he's going around, you know, talking crap about the world, like what the world is, what it's going into. Yeah. Cancel culture. The ways the BLM movement and how it was like blown out of proportion, right. Just like, you know, media in itself. Yeah. And you really got to look what the message he's portraying. And he's got, he just released a song today, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be the 5th #1 hit in a row.
How I never heard about this guy.
He beat Eminem's album with one song. The newest one, yeah. He's top installed and purchased songs on top of iTunes, like for the 5th time straight.
He even got Fox News' attention.
He got Fox News' attention from what he said.
I'm so musically out of the loop because I still listen to. I just love my old hip hop and rap. I really do. Like I'm not hating on the new rap. I think like I think a lot of it are bangers and there's good music out there, you know. But I like, you know, Cutthroat Committee, Keek the Sneak, like Mob Figures, Nipsey Hussle, Nicotina, like Tech Nine. Like I like those lyrical monsters. And I'm Bay Boy through and through. And any West Coast Connection, Corrupt, you know, like Wu-Tang Clan, Redman by himself is fucking nasty, Method Man, Exhibit, Dre. Like those guys are dope. But actually I just saw like Exhibit release an album with a couple people and they did the same thing. Same thing, yeah. They were roasting what's going on in the world right now, and that's pretty cool. But Tom McDonald.
Weird name.
That's why he hit Fox. Like
Tom McDonald today.
No.
Get the
Canadian rapper
fucking-
Tom McDonald.
Things are getting pretty hot and heavy in the 666 with Tom McDonald. Like, get the fuck out of
And
here.
that's
with
the
that.
angle.
That's
Like-
the angle. But you got Rockefeller backing you, dude. Bunch of
She
thugs.
started
Big
rapping
oil
now
money.
too,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. She came back.
She's a rapper.
Yeah, she's a
The
rapper.
whole Rockefeller family's got to be
she-
pissed.
She came back. Yeah. Oh yeah. She came back off his music and
Right.
started releasing new tracks, and in days, like 2 days, like
Man.
3 million views. 3 days, 4 million views. It's
What-
absolutely insane what they're doing.
What's that conversation like at the dinner table is my thought process. Like, you're at the Rockefeller dinner table and it's like, you know, their casual conversations are like, yeah, you remember when we completely flipped the industrial period on its head? You remember when we completely influenced the hundreds of years of educations where we're sitting in rows and the assembly line attack towards production in the industry and pretty much the building block of capitalism in America? Like, what do you think about that, honey? Like, oh, I didn't really watch because I was rapping. And then I'm like,
I was shooting this music video for my rapper boyfriend.
Like I shot a music video. What did you do today? Well, we signed the legislation that will continue to keep the foundation of curriculum in all public schools in the entire nation. What'd you do today? Like, I posted something on YouTube. Like, god damn it. You hanging out with fucking Tom again? You bitch. That's a lot of pressure, bro. That's a lot of pressure.
And he's got the long blonde hair, and he's got
Tattoos
like
on
the
his
tattoos,
face.
fucking
God.
piercings
Yeah.
everywhere.
And
Like,
it's weird.
you ain't
the music
taking him
that
to
he
a
makes, he
Rockefeller
talks
family dinner.
crap
yeah.
about all that. Yeah.
Fuck no.
No.
Just have like an assembly line tattooed on his forehead. He's got like steel mill tattooed under his eye. Like, I'm about the Rockefellers. How do you feel about face tattoos?
I don't think you should get one unless you're gonna be a rapper.
Man, that just screams minimum wage to me.
No,
Minimum
yeah.
wage will
No, no, I definitely feel like face tats, neck tats, and shit. Nothing screams unemployed more than those.
I,
for sure.
I-
no offense to them. Like, I think
No,
tattoos
no.
are dope. I have 2 tattoos, but like, I don't plan on getting any that are like
On your
completely
face. Right.
exposed to. I mean, even on my lower arms until I've got my career like fully
Yeah,
established.
it's very
you know?
irresponsible.
You know, more. You're like, I don't know what you're talking
Never
about.
do that. I like to challenge that culture because I think you're right. But like, as I move up in FedEx, like as I like that job security, like I like celebrate it. You know, like when I got my sort manager job, my first tattoo was on my hand.
Yeah.
You know, like I knew I was in a spot, like, and it is changing the culture because like I still have people, like I've gone into interviews for other buildings and I've sat in front of people that are talking to me, and while they're talking to me, they're like,
Looking at your hand. Yeah.
I'd say fairly though, like in
But it's
Reno,
much more
in
accepting.
Reno, we have it pretty good in terms of like the
Oh, yeah.
tattoo tolerance.
the culture is definitely
like,
changing.
Like, we're not such like a formal place. Like, you can go into a law office in Reno and motherfuckers are wearing jeans.
Right.
You don't see that like in LA.
Yeah, I had to get a defense attorney for a friend. And
I was just inquiring.
yeah,
like,
I walked into his office and there's like hot fucking chicks in there with like yoga pants. There's a dog laying on the front. This dude's in shorts and flip flops, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you gonna defend my black ass in court? Like, is everything straight?" He killed it though, but he killed it.
I thought it was for a friend, Ricky.
My friend is very happy with his services. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I meant when I say he killed it. Derailed. I don't even know where I was going. I'm just like putting my life out now. FedEx is like, what? You got a defense attorney for what? But like, you know, if I become a senior manager, I'll get a neck tattoo for sure.
Okay.
Like I've always wanted a neck tattoo, but maybe it's just kind of like a middle finger and a fuck you to the system. But I take pride in the fact that I get to a spot where the superior judgments and the superficial judgments of the corporate world or just things are out of the norm, I get to taunt and kind of throw in their face. Like, it's weird, but like, you know, when BLM was popping off, and obviously for years, you know, they talk about the inequality and the lack of diversity, and you know, like you talk about the upper echelon, and as you climb higher, it like becomes white, and I agree with that, and I want more diversity, absolutely. But there is a piece of me, like when I sit down in a meeting with 20 to 25 people at a table, and I'm the only black person there, like I fucking dig that shit. I'm about that shit. Just fucking tat it up, you know? Like I would love to sit in a corporate, everyone's coming and fucking like dressing to the nines like a bunch of church niggas, which I fucking hate, and just cruise in there, no shirt tucked in, neck tattoos.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
No, I can absolutely agree with you. I mean, especially like in the real estate world. I mean, Nick and I are by far at any given time we walk into a room and we're by a decade typically, if not more,
younger.
The youngest one was
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know, so people are already got their preconceived notions about Nick and I.
That's a
And
big.
they-
that's a big challenge.
Yeah, they just like, who the fuck are these kids with cameras and they got a drone? And they think they know what they're doing. They think they know how to sell houses and shit. But I mean, I think once we start talking and they hear us and they give us a chance, they're like, well, these kids are legit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, I feel that 100%.
And
just
it's
on a different sense.
It's nice. The culture is starting to change where you can disarm people from your superficial look a lot easier than I believe in previous times. You know, like we would struggle with that at the job for sure. Like being young and being in management, you know, you got cats like, you know, that are worth millions or much older and have more wisdom and know a lot more and have been through a lot more, and you have to learn how to disarm them, you know what I mean, and earn that respect from people, or else you're fucked, because they'll judge you quick, throw you out the door.
Sure.
And then when they do, you throw a fucking house party at that house you're trying to sell. I'm not even gonna rent Airbnbs anymore. I'm just gonna call you guys.
I got this house tomorrow too.
Yeah.
You know of any empty houses right now?
What's your, I'll act like it's for the podcast. What's your schedule like? I got to shoot at 3. Like, oh, you have one at 2? Oh, where's it at? Oh, really? That sounds pretty cool. What's the address?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. He needs
The same guy that needed the lawyer.
I'm going through a quarter life crisis, guys. Fuck off. Oh my goodness gracious. So what is when you guys like sit down at the table and you guys are, you know, jotting out your game plan, and where do you see Tourdspace going? Like, what is, if you could attempt to, obviously, you know, complacency you should never have and you want to continuously grow, but you know, like when you're talking about maybe your short term or semi long term goals, like what is it that you guys talk about when it comes to this?
So, without a doubt, I mean, since Tourdspace was just an idea, it's always been the goal has always been franchise the business model in different markets around the country, different and if not around the world. Correct. So actually, that's something that we're already in the process of doing. Okay. So we've got plans to open up a branch, God willingly, with everything going on. We've got plans to open up a branch this year in Cleveland, Ohio, and then we also have a plan to open up a branch in Israel.
Fucking Cleveland.
Yeah. So
if you were to, I would bet $1 million if you were to ask people to pick 2 locations that you would expand, they would never say Cleveland, Ohio, and fucking Israel. How Cleveland, Ohio? I get Israel. Fucking Jew.
Exactly. Yeah, how are you gonna go to Israel and not be able to fucking know what you're doing out
yeah,
there?
right.
But,
you got it.
So
Cleveland, Ohio, though.
Yeah, so Cleveland's actually a very interesting market. It's a lot different than ours. So majority of the demographic there is a lot lower income, and it's a much bigger investor market.
Okay.
So most of the people that are property owners right out in Cleveland and in the Ohio area don't necessarily live there.
Ah.
So it's mostly people, unfortunately, on the lower end of the spectrum, living off of unemployment or very like minimum wage jobs, and a lot of poverty, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So there's a huge market for people that are doing, especially right now with everything going on, doing a lot of fix and flips. And so fortunately, I have my partner that helped me start up, I guess who was my investor that helped me got into creating Tourdspace to what it is today. He has a lot of connections out in Cleveland and people that are actually really interested in doing our services out in
So
Ohio.
you would have to transplant someone, though, to Cleveland, correct?
Yeah. Yes and no. So I mean, the idea is that basically I just build the business model in the system and be able to teach it to somebody.
So you would go out there, teach them this model, run with them for a while, get them trained up, and continue to do that in other places?
Essentially, yes. So the idea is that basically somebody would buy into a franchise, but they'd be buying into getting all of our equipment that we're using and learning the system and all of our infrastructure and all of our support. And basically just doing exactly what we're doing here in Reno,
right,
but in just different locations.
And then Israel.
Israel, same deal. Obviously, I was.
I don't know why I just grinned, bro. You made me grin when you grin. I'm like, Israel.
So obviously, I was born in Israel. I lived there till I was 9 years old. My partner is also Israeli, and so we've got somebody there already who is actually getting ready to be our first.
Your partner in Tourdspace?
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought he was like talking about like his girl or something. Did you just call it your partner?
Yeah. So I've got
my employee.
No, so my investor partner is from Israel,
Right.
And so we've got people that are interested in basically, adopting our business model and our brand and starting it in Israel.
When it comes to real estate in Israel, is it completely different?
It's
different
it's a different world. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
in real estate's unique in every location. I mean, even the 2-hour drive over to Sacramento, the way they do it is different.
Right.
I mean, whereas here you're putting the listing price up with the anticipation of like people will make an offer with that price,
Right.
or probably lower. In California, especially like in a booming market like Sacramento, it's a bidding war.
Right,
You're
right.
putting it up for $950.
Someone's gonna pop in there for 1 point
And
whatever.
but it's going to be going for 1 point something.
Right. Interesting.
So, and what's different about the market in Israel is, so they don't have like necessarily like an MLS, like a multiple listing service, like you do in most local markets in the United States.
MLS, is that like you're talking like Craigslist, Zillow, places?
So
where you can
MLS is like the official database that all realtors in an association will use to basically put up their listings and exchange information to be able to close transactions.
Right.
So all the realtors in like the Reno Sparks Association and the Carson City or the Sierra Nevada Realtors Association, they all basically pay into this system to support this database, and they're the people that add and remove content from it as they get listings or sell listings.
Okay.
In Israel, that's non-existent. So if you're a realtor in Israel, your marketing and all of your listings information, it has to be completely organic. So you really need to know how to sell properties out there from start to finish. It's because, I mean, right now with the conditions we have in the market in Reno, you can put a listing up. I could be a realtor right now. I could have a listing for however much, take a couple photos with my iPhone, and no matter what, I'm going to get some calls on it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to say, hey, I want to check this out.
Right.
You don't have that in Israel, so everything you're doing has to be completely, organic, and you need to know how to bring people into this property.
Do you see Tourdspace as challenging that culture over there, and you bringing a more accessible route to real estate over there?
Without a doubt.
Or are you trying to fit into that culture, or are you trying to change that culture, if you would, in a sense, making it more convenient?
I think it's going to change the real estate market pretty drastically, because as of right now, professional media and marketing content for listings in Israel is essentially non-existent, except in the very high end.
Right.
It hasn't came down to a scale of doing it on mid-level properties. So, and that's the thing. So, a lot of folks in Israel will do the for sale by owner method, whereas that's a pretty rare occasion in the U.S. So we're probably going to be finding ourselves having a really much more diverse mix of client base when we start working in Israel. Whereas right now, I'd say at least 95% of all of our clients are the realtors, and then they're using part of their like sales pitch to get at a listing presentation is our services.
So you'll be fucking with more homeowners in Israel.
Correct.
Something you're excited about?
Definitely. I think it's going to be a challenge because I think it'll definitely be a little bit more difficult because obviously the average homeowner, that's one property. If you have a realtor that you work with and you get in with them and they happen to be a top producer, they might give you 40 listings in a year.
Isn't that cutting out the middleman though? Profit margin should be higher, correct? If you're going straight from homeowner to you know what I mean? I don't know if this would be, but like when there's homeowner, then in the middle there's realtor, and then there's you, a layer of a middleman. Is that a cut that is taken, a piece of the pie that's slivered off? And if you eliminate the realtor, there's more in the pot. Am I wrong on that, or am I right on
that? Yes and no. I think, obviously they don't have to pay a commission to a realtor if they're doing a for sale by owner. But again, like the process is a lot different. There's a lot more red tape and a lot less red tape in certain aspects of it. Like you don't have like a title and escrow process in there. It's like you were talking about. You bring in the buyer and you jack their shit.
Right,
No, I'm
right,
just
yeah.
kidding, but
Catch me, bro. I'm telling you, like, I'm not about it. But if someone was like, yes, at this location in Tahoe, there's going to be some fucking middle-aged dude with $6.2 million in a fucking duffel bag. Like, I'm not about that life anymore, but I for sure got some contacts in my phone that are still about that life, Grims. Right. I would call Grims big time and be like, hey, bro, you want to grab some lunch at this location at 2:30? Bring a strap, just in case. You know what I mean? Don't load it. Let's just scare him. Fucking pistol whip somebody for 6.2. But I hear that makes sense.
Yeah, so it'll be a challenge because, I mean, no matter where we go, whether it's Israel, Cleveland, New York, San Francisco, we're going to have to adjust to the market there. It's
different pricing, different way we're going to approach realtors.
Exactly. So it's definitely not a one size fits all. It's more of the process and the infrastructure is more of what people will be.
Do you guys plan on being the overseer, or do you guys plan on being the people that are like transplanting themselves for extended amount of times in different markets to train up the people that are going to carry on Tourdspace?
That's a good question.
That'd be fucking awesome. Like, how much of a dream job would that be where, you know, when you do open up a market, you get to go and see these different places and travel and check in on where your market's at and help develop them and make sure that they're using the tech correctly and all that stuff. Yeah. That's a fucking dream, right?
Using SharePoint to monitor the say for what is it? Sort schedule.
Yeah.
Would be used the same way. Use SharePoint. Everyone uploads their set sort schedule and you just monitor.
Fuck a Zoom, bro. Like, I'll see you in Israel. I'm out there. I'm coming.
Yeah, so that's actually already in place. I'm actually going to Cleveland on Monday. So we're hoping by like May.
Oh, you guys are making moves.
Yeah, so hopefully by May or June we'll be actually having somebody live and operating in Cleveland, like actually making money doing what we're doing.
Wow.
But I'll be going on Monday to basically start putting together our portfolio. So we've got a few properties that we're going to be shooting. And then I'm going to basically just go around all over Cleveland and get some B-roll footage for us to use, you know, at our disposal. Because obviously, you know, when we're going to be appealing to, you know, the realtors in Cleveland, I can't give them listings that I took up at Lake Tahoe because there's nothing in Cleveland that you're going to see that looks like a Lake Tahoe listing.
Right.
Or even a Reno house. I mean, it's just a much different world there.
Yeah, it's ghetto as fuck, yeah?
It is, from what I understand.
Fucking losers.
Yeah, so
this is gonna be killer for your Cleveland market. Like, watch this podcast. 1 hour and 34 minutes in, like, fuck you, Cleveland.
Yeah, so you know, essentially, it's gonna be different everywhere. But so we've already got that in the process, and then I've got my gal who is gonna be running our operation in Israel. She's supposed to be coming at the end of the month, so that I can start training her.
Man.
And like I said, God willing, if the world opens back up from, you know, COVID and everything, I'll be able to go back with her once she's done being trained here.
How is she getting here?
She's gonna be flying here.
But she can get here, but you can't go there?
Correct.
How does that work out?
So Israel's like completely closed off right now. They unfortunately took this whole COVID thing a lot more serious than most countries. I mean, like, my pop still lives in Israel right now, and they're on their like 4th shutdown.
Damn.
And like when I talk shutdown, like they're not supposed to be like leaving their house like past like a kilometer past their house. Like it's pretty ridiculous. Like it's excessive.
Is it working?
No.
Right.
And, yeah, people are still dying. People are still getting sick. So I mean, it's literally just been this open close. You know, because I think they opened up this summer, but too fast, and then they shut back down just as fast as they opened up.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's definitely been an obstacle because she was supposed to come last fall to do the same thing. They didn't approve her visa to come in here because I have my dual citizenship, so that's not an issue for me. But she only has her Israeli citizenship, obviously. Excuse me. So, you know, that's kind of been our biggest obstacle is this COVID thing. It's like we have everything put in place and we're ready to go. I'm actually even currently putting together a manual from start to finish of how to run our business.
Right.
You know, and then adding more in as we continue to expand and continue to learn and get better at what we're doing. And so, and that's about it. I mean, we're really just getting ready to get everything ready to go. And
you said that Israel shut down. This is totally off topic, but I have a couple military buddies who are in Israel, and they say that they party so fucking hard out in Israel. Is that true?
Israel's a lot of fun, for sure. If you ever get the chance to go, I highly recommend it.
Right.
Obviously not during COVID season.
yeah.
But
But I heard that they just have a much different culture of like the celebration of life and enjoying the time that they're in, and they're like they fucking party out there.
it is. It's a much different culture.
I heard the wine is fire too.
There's some good wine. You know, so unfortunately, Israel is always under attack. You know,
Right.
So
Yeah, just like isn't it like a fucking 2,000 year civil war? No big deal. Or like how it's been like.
I mean,
How-
you know, I growing up there, I remember, you know, seeing buses explode. I've seen, you know, shit fly over your head. I've
Right,
seen
it's a
sirens go off, so you better start hiding. You better go in your bomb shelter.
Right.
By the way, every home in Israel has a bomb shelter.
Good.
So because of the potential that
That's
they could
fucking
get
crazy.
that they could get attacked. Yeah. So
Every
I think,
guy's got a man cave, guaranteed.
So with that being said, I mean, well, it's typically like just one of the bedrooms in a house,
Right.
but it's basically designed to sustain like a nuclear attack or.
But it is the Mecca, right? It's the Holy Land, so it's constantly trying to be controlled by everyone and everyone, right?
Yeah, I think it's just nonstop, just a religious war.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a constant fight between whose land is this? Does this
Right.
belong to? You know, as opposed to everybody just trying to coexist. You know, so and I think that's part of why the culture in Israel is the way it is. I think people are always they realize that there's always that potential that they could get killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could be their last day on earth.
Right.
You know, so I think people just live their life to the fullest out there, and not as cheesy as that may sound.
No, so fucking privileged
You know.
we are. You know what I mean? That shit is crazy. That shit is wild. But yeah, I would definitely go over there. Someone was like, they party really hard. And I'm such a fucking ignorant American. I wasn't even thinking about like war or anything. I'm like, what? They party hella hard in Israel? I'd be down. I'd be watching like viral, like Jewish weddings look like the most cracking fucking weddings in the world. Have you been to weddings?
A few. Yeah,
Are
they're a
they
lot of
popping?
fun. Yeah, I hope my fucking wedding one day, whenever I get married, will be something similar to that. But yeah,
Let me know, bro. I will be in that
yeah,
bitch.
definitely, dude.
So you were I'm gonna go here. We were talking about religion and stuff like that, and it always makes me think of aliens. You ready? Very strange thoughts on the fact that the Pentagon has been releasing official statements for the last like 6 months of them officially seeing unidentified flying objects and different things like that.
Did you know part of the COVID bill was that they have to disclose like everything they know about aliens in the next like 6 months?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yes, of
First-
course they
There's
threw
no-
a bunch of other random wild shit into it
There's
too,
so many
but
random things in those bills.
Random. I saw one that was like illegally streaming is now a felony. I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with COVID? It's just crazy. Like, if you put like a $1,200 stimulus check behind a bill, you can just throw whatever the fuck you want in there because you know that shit's gonna pass.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How sick and fucking twisted is that? Like, could they be any more exposed? But I thought you think they're gonna release everything they know? No way.
probably not.
No
it's going to be
fucking
filtered
way.
to a certain extent.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
It'll be like, this is the story. This is a sentence for that story. We told you about it.
Exactly. It's a nice buffer though. Like
Yeah.
if shit does pop off, they're like, well, we fucking told you. You guys were just so distracted with the pandemic. You know, there's shit flying in our airspace, so we have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
That is sketch.
Yeah.
You guys
For
trying to
sure.
live among aliens or like what?
I'll share a little bit.
I'd smash an alien for sure.
Space pussies.
You know what I'm saying? Space puss. She can get these space balls. I just thought I'd fucking give it a shot or think about it. I don't know. The world's a pretty fucking.
You don't know what to expect anymore.
Yeah, it is wild. I mean, but the good thing is, like, I feel like you guys are on the right track. There is a lot of crazy stuff going on, and you know, you got your pandemic, and you got politics, and you know, and all that stuff. But kind of like you said, when it comes to Israel, like I'm hoping that there's more enlightenment as we move further of just trying to coexist. We're so commingled now,
For
and
sure.
it's such a melting pot. And we have no choice but to, you know, kind of get a peephole more and more of what people are going through and other people's adversities and other people's cultures. So it's got to have that hurry up of living cohesively, you know,
Agreed.
with all shapes and sizes and colors and cultures and thought processes and stuff like that. And the last year has shown that we are very bad at it.
Yeah.
Like violently bad at it.
It's been a lot of chaos for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, who would have ever thought if I asked you 2 years that you thought the National Guard was going to come marching down the fucking streets of Reno?
Yeah.
no way. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
shit is crazy. I hope for the best. I mean, 2020 was fucking whack. 2021 is off to a dog shit start.
Oh yeah.
Dog shit start.
Almost worse.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're fucking like 6 days in, and they fucking rushed Capitol Hill. I'd say that's pretty fucking rough, dude.
Day 6 worse than 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I feel like the only good news that I've gotten in a while is that California and New York are going to start opening back up on the 14th. That's about
really?
it. Yeah.
Thank God.
Just kind of sketchy, like, you know, the
busiest areas.
Yeah, but, you know, for an entire year, like, you have a vast majority of the Democrats who are like, you know, shut this thing down, keep it shut down, let's stay protected, you know, like, we'll do these things to try to help balance out the hit that the economy is going to take. And then, you know, a month into fucking office, and now everyone's kind of flipped the coin, and now they're trying to open up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if there isn't any more in your face about how there's interior motives to things that are going on up top, like, kind of makes me want to throw up, to be honest with you.
It is. It's really sad. I mean, because these are people's lives, you know. I think to these people in Congress and in the Senate and, you know, wherever, to them, it's, you know, it's just politics. But, you know, the guy who can't afford to feed his family anymore because of all this BS, you know, or, you know, the guy who had to close down his business that he just opened up because, you know, obviously there's no business that's meant to run at 25% occupancy.
Absolutely not.
There's a reason.
Right. Food and beverage runs at like a 10 to 12% profit margin in the first place.
Exactly.
Not a lot
That's
of
at
people
100,
have
and that's at
money
100%.
to spend
Correct.
on these businesses.
So
or
most of these
either.
exactly. So most of these places that are operating at 25%, they're losing money.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's wild, man. It's wild. We'll hope for the. I mean, we'll see what comes as it starts to open up. You know, I hope that you know, whatever the political and financial motives or if there are some, the craze is over, and hopefully we can land back on our feet. But I do know that the lower, middle, and upper middle class they need a big fucking shovel, because there's a big hole that needs to, because I don't think we're even seeing the effects. I think what happened here will be long-term effects. Like, I think we'll be seeing this for 5 to 10 years.
Restructure for
absolutely.
For sure.
Cultural change.
Even longer than 10. I mean, I saw something that was like 60% of people that had like retirement plans had to take money out of their retirement plans to pay for their bills because they don't have income coming in anymore because of COVID. Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine. Like, I saw there was things that like the IRS is having a hard time even getting to regular citizens to process tax returns to like March. Because I mean, just imagine all the bankruptcy and divorces and lawsuits and unemployment and all these things that are affiliated with tax and stimulus checks, and
they're gonna be behind.
It's a messy business.
Yeah.
But I mean, we just gotta keep pushing. You know, I hope that the people that are out there who are struggling and are losing businesses and are operating at 25% in capacity, absolutely, they hold on to the blessing that we have in America to strive on that entrepreneurship and create their own income and create their own livelihood. And hopefully, you know, kind of like that quote that we're talking about, like, you know, we're in hard times, and hopefully it will create, you know, hard men, women, children, the whole nine.
Yeah.
I fucking talk to my 3-year-old like he's a grown-ass fucking man, because he's got to get ready for this wild shit that he's about to be raised in.
Yeah.
But I fucking love sitting down and talking with you guys. This has been a badass fucking experience. I'm excited you guys got on the other side of the camera. And I'm glad you guys popped the cherry of the new room and the new table. And thank you guys for coming out. And before we pop off, I want you guys to make sure to plug everything that you guys got, like where to find you, what you guys got coming up, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, you can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All the platforms, all of them. That's all you got to type in and you'll find it. We got a fantastic website. You know, you can check out our Google reviews, I mean, to see what people have to say about us. So we're really all over the place, and I think people should be excited to see what we're cooking up this year.
Hell yeah. If you got any new projects or anything like that and you want it to look dope, you know where to go. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll sign off.
Awesome.
Thanks everybody.
Ricky, thank you.
No problem.